but you can get some of the data from Inca. So that's what I've been trying to do.
Okay.
Hopefully that's clear enough.
Yeah. So Marcella, as in your case, so I keep talking about that one pager. So I think those two projects are meaty enough for you to, line up what it is what you think you want to do basically for the semester, and so we'll evaluate if it's strong enough. But I think between Ethereum and this, I think it's good enough. I would think there's enough there to technically. It exposes you to a bunch of different things, new concepts, new systems. There's some coding involved, but more importantly, it gets you out there a little bit more. So I think that should be good. Randy and Michael, are you in the capstone this year or not? I don't think you are, right?
No, not this semester.
Okay, so the pressure is kind of off with you, but I might put it have a capstone in the spring as well. But Randy, for you, I think between this one, which is more of a research-driven blockchain project, I think you could make it as heavy as you want to do. Between this one and the multi-factor,
Yeah,
I think this should be good enough for you. But again, start thinking in terms of, okay, what am I going to do this semester the same way Mitzal is doing, and you're just lining up. Because, yeah.
Just a quick question. I was realizing that I'm the only second year MFE student on the project, and I was wondering what other projects are the other guys working on? What's the dynamic there? I mean,
yeah. All right. So, so on this one, well, Kai and Janet, yeah, Z1 is on this project.
Yeah,
As
but
a
she hasn't
second
been
year.
on the call for a while, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Well, I need to talk to her because, one thing I'm trying to instill in people, it's probably easier on the new guys, is that, and I'm getting a lot of calls, people telling me, oh, Professor, yeah, I want to be on the Falling Knife project. I say, well, that's great. That's good.
Yeah.
So what do you want from me? You don't expect me to tell you, okay, then do this and do that. That's not going to work that way. Right? I'm not, this is not a class with Richard Kish who tells you, read the book. And, it's just like if you're working in real life, they can say, okay, obviously I give you a context, and then you decide how deep you want to do it. Hopefully you could come up with on your own, and that reflects on your grade in terms of you being innovative enough and forward-looking. But if you just sit there and wait for it to happen, it's not going to happen because this is not how this class is being run. Okay. I mean, you have enough out there, and this is to Marcella's point. He's saying, well, hold on, I'm doing 2 projects, but I'm hearing factor investing, I'm hearing a bunch of other things. Am I missing out on something? And that's the kind of spirit I'm looking for, that, you should want to take, well, all of them, you probably can't but it doesn't mean you can't get involved. Like if Marcella tells me what I want to be on this project. I don't want too many people on the factor investing, because it don't really, it could go many ways. But if he wants in and he wants to listen in, and maybe he's got something to say, okay, not to say, well, you know what, I like this one, but I'm going to drop the other one, because then it becomes a confusing issue. But I'll make an exception for him. He's been around. I know what he could do. If he wants to get on all 5 of them, he could just participate and listen in and see. Because you know what, at the end of the day, while we're doing this for a grade, right, the most important thing you're doing it for is that you want to be exposed as many things as possible. So when you graduate and you look for, start looking for jobs, and they're talking about Splunk, and they're talking about Inca Digital, they're talking about currency, you could relate as to what it means, or factor investing. So to that end, I want to make sure that by the 28th, you all have a plan, a project plan. Now, Marcella, the other project that we have, so we have Ethereum, we have Inca Digital, we have the Falling Knives, The advantages of the falling knives, it's very much, well, it's falling knives, so it's going to be working with algorithm, working with machine learning. But what's the interesting part of this project is you don't really have an outside sponsor yet, but we are going to be working with the computer science team because their capstone is also falling knives, where they're going to be designing an interface. So that could be interesting because you design your algorithm that says, okay, these are falling knives based on some regression, but then you could say that so how do we put this in an app? How does this actually, so you get to see the other side of things. So it's a little more technical in nature, I would think. But still, it's interesting. And in there, we've got, who do we have? We have 16 people, but there was a lot of undergraduate in this one. Jordan is, no, he's a first year. Mike, Yua is in there. He's a second year.
Okay.
But he was there from the beginning. Then we have ADC. I don't know if you recall that one from last year. That one it's an okay project, but I'm meeting with John tomorrow. But this is it's not even a project, it's a job, really. They're trying to set up the fund for real. And, in there we've got, no second year. And then the final one that we have, fifth one, is with actor modeling investing. Randy is on that one. There's no second year. Randy, Brian, and Jordan. Now, the reason you don't see too many second year is because they're still coming up to speed.
I think the reason I was asking was that, like, I know some of them are research assistants to some of the professors, and I was just wondering, like, is there, like, I was just curious to find out maybe where I stand, like, maybe there's something I'm missing.
No, you're not missing anything. In fact, they're the one that are missing out, because I think I'm getting 3 or 4 of them already, but I think 1 or 2 are in China because they couldn't come back.
Yes.
2 of them are here, and I think their mindset is still very much what they've heard last year, when they ran the other capstone.
Yes.
Where they would just come in, and last year's capstone very different. It was a research capstone. It wasn't a practice capstone. They had this guy from the ISI coming in, told them, okay, why don't you research Markowitz theorems, these are the books, and tell me what you think. Okay, but okay, fine. Then I could have 500 people in that class, right? It doesn't matter because you just do research. It's kind of a research paper more than anything else. This is different. This, you have a sponsor. In Randy's case, we have Manish, who is a PhD from, he worked at Deutsche Bank, and he worked at BNP Paribas. Now he's setting up his own shop, and he's helping us design a project that is useful, right? That don't want to be researching things that nobody's doing anymore. This is not a PhD class. So to that end, it's interesting. Now, you're not missing anything, Ahmed. I think a lot of the other students still think, okay, well, I want to join the group. So they're going to think they're going to come in, they're going to sit down on the 28th, and they're going to say, okay, what do you want me to do? No, that's not going to work that way. And I've been telling them, reach out to people in the team. Like if they want to do this, they should reach out to Mitsala or to you, to Randy or to you or to Michael. I say, okay, guys, what's going on? Let me, I want people to start, because, when you start working, that's what's going to happen. I don't want to send a bunch of you out there, a bunch of research people just waiting for the work the modeling to get done. I want people to get moving and start to think on your feet and coming up with projects. I realize it could be challenging because you say, well, what do I do? Well, then find out what the scope, what's going on. You have people you could talk to. Usually on all the program, you have an outside, like in this case, Inca, he's got weekly calls to help you learn this thing, gives you access to the data, and he says, I know whatever you want to work on, which is great. This is more of a research. You go out and you know, it could be Bitcoin, but you could, he's doing a lot of sentiment analysis, I've noticed. And if you look at his email, his post on LinkedIn, he's doing a lot of sentiment analysis. And one of the things that we're looking for is, you know, where's the next pandemic coming from, or whatever, the next black swan or gray swan. So there's a lot, and that database is huge. In fact, they're getting paid by the SEC to research for fraudulent activity, you know, through that database. But you've got to write scripts, right, Marcelo?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's very interesting. And there's a lot of things you could do. So I think this one is good because it's light in coding. And I think you, in the case of Marcelo, he's got something a little bit heavier coding with Ethereum. And Randy, in your case, when it comes to factor investing, then you have a little more. Michael's viewpoint is situation is a bit different because he doesn't have a capstone, but it does not mean that you should not be involved. Maybe you want to be on the call, see what's going on, see what your course load is like, because eventually, I think I want to do a capstone in the spring. In fact, next year, I want the capstone to last 2 semesters as opposed to just one, because it's tough to box it in, you know, August 28th to December 2nd. Technically, you can't do it unless you tell people to go out and, you know, do some research. Then you could, otherwise, if it's a real project, I can't tell the sponsor, oh, don't do anything yet until the 20th. Now we start. So, well, now I'm busy. Oh, okay. And on the 2nd, it has to be done. Like Ethereum may not get done by December 2nd, right? I mean, this thing could go on for a while. And if Marcelo is still on it, I want to give him credit for it by maybe having another semester after. Did I confuse you, or is it? Because the idea is to get jobs at the end of this.
Yes.
I mean, it's great to research, to get grades. At the end of the day, if I send Randy out for an interview, right, or maybe even not, because we could say, hey, we could talk to Manish, who's setting up his own shop. I don't know exactly what he's doing. He left BNP, so he wants to do something on his own. You know, could be interesting. We got the guys at Inca Digital. You know, I would rather you able to get in that way. Otherwise, to fight your way with everybody else in the jungle, you know, where everybody's going to be out there looking for jobs, right? Banging like, Marcelo, were you in New York with us when we went to?
Yeah,
you were there. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, I remember a picture of you, and remember that when we went to the math. What was that called? It was the math. The annual IAQF math, not competition, the math fair, right?
The fair, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
That was scary. Let me tell you, you think you're smart. There were like 600 of them, all right, looking for the same job that you're looking for. And there were maybe like 13 companies. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So they are there, you sit down. Did you do how was the interview when you went there? Did you sit down for an interview?
Yeah, but they seemed too superficial. You know, I don't think they were really out there to get any people. Maybe Bloomberg was, but most of them, honestly, it seemed like it was just more like a social exercise than really trying to get like credible people on board. So, but Bloomberg though, I think they seemed very serious. Like their questions. Like you could tell that even they had like the top guys there. Some of the head of data science I know was there. So they seemed like they were looking to hire.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't want that. You don't want that because you know they'll ask you, okay, where you from? What you do? What kind of grades? Can you do this? You know this? You know that? Show me what you do. It's like, you know, it's like you're like in a circus. You know, jump. All right. Run. All right. I will call you. What is that? Demeaning. Now, having said that, Marcella, I have another project which I'm sure you're going to want to take a look at. I'm talking to them today, actually. It's a company. If you go on course site, you should see the sign. It's called Pygmy, Pig, or Ping Me, or something like that. PNGME.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what they do is they do API for financial institutions in Africa.
That's interesting.
That could be, I thought of you right away. I don't know exactly what, so they're going to be at the conference.
All right. Yeah.
I'm talking to the founder. These are blockchains also, companies. But I'm talking to them, and I think just for the sake of, kicking the ties, you probably would be a great. I mean, let's see what they have. I told them, do you have projects? They say, yeah, sure. In fact, they are hiring right now.
Okay.
So I'm talking to them at 11:30. I'll let you know what happened, and I'll add it as a project. Maybe some of you might be interested. Michael, you may want to take a look at it as well. You have the luxury of having you don't have, you could get as involved as you want. At some point, you're gonna have to pick something, but obviously, the more perspective you have, so when you do your capstone, you'll know exactly what to get. So that's I'm getting better traction from these type of companies rather than the larger banks. Because unfortunately they tied in because of compliance issues. So they have a lot of hesitation of having students coming in and just kicking the tie. They say, no, you know what? Why don't we bring him as intern? But as an intern, you're not going to do anything interesting. You're going to have I think what's his name? Ramos is doing accounts payable for some firm. I mean, that's not good enough. So you want to do more interesting stuff. Okay. So, Randy, what you need to do, and maybe I'll reach out to Marcella separate, but you need, not only for me, but even for Nick, right? He wants to know what you're thinking about, because then he assigns you someone, what's her name? Forgot her name. The one that, yes.
I think it's Grace. Yeah.
Grace will get in touch with you and say, okay, if this is what you're looking to do, these are the technical skills or the libraries you might want to use to. But first, get a load of Splunk, get some training, and then after that, you have about 2 weeks, not even. And then send him your ideas. Take a look at what Metsala did so you get a feel for it. I mean, there's plenty of topics. Plenty of topics.
Okay.
Not just block. Yeah.
So do I just like choose one topic from the list, or?
No, there's no list.
Okay.
There's no list. That'd be great. No, there's no list. Marcel had to design his own list. No. You first get into Splunk so you see what it is that this universe is about.
Okay.
But think of it as, I think Marcel described as a Bloomberg kind of, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a terminal really. Yeah, it gives you access to data and manipulating data, data extraction, data visualization. Like once you get in, you get the feel for it.
Yeah, you'll get a feel for it. So you'll tell me, okay, I want to research that. It doesn't have to be financial, right? It could be different things. It could be sentiment analysis, like I mentioned. But you'll use some coding, and then you get involved and it's blockchain based. So it should be very interesting. Okay, so get that done as soon as you start playing around with Splunk. Get into the training this week, and then by the end of the week, like start thinking. And talk to Marcella also, and talk to the other guys in the group that did the. Who else was there? I mean, you've seen the list on GroupMe. And they'll give you a feel for what other topic. Kai is doing something else, and then by next time, by the 20th, give me and then send your idea to Nick, and then you'll ask one of the assistant, the research analyst, to tell you, okay, these are the things that you're going to need to do what you're looking to do.
Okay, I would definitely do that.
Okay.
All right.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So there's a training call every Friday, or is it Thursday for Splunk? How does that work? Do we like come in with questions? Because we're all at like different stages of using, like
Yes.
if I'm coming in for the first time as opposed to someone who's there for.
Marcella, how does that work?
Yeah, you pretty much just come in with your own questions and he will answer them. So he'll probably ask you, depending on what you've been able to figure out, Obviously, it takes a lot of time because it's a new system, but you make a bit of time. You'll make time. Like he'll ask you what questions do you have, maybe depending on what you're working on, and he'll be able to answer them. I believe he's been able to answer some of the questions for the most part. So like I don't think because when I went in with the guys, I mean I wasn't sure what was happening, but he was able to clear up a few things, help me up here and there. So yeah, you just go in sometimes just to listen because he talks about how to use the system. So it becomes sort of like a system training as well, how the Splunk works. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So reach out to each other, and I think next week is going to be our last call because then all these calls are going to migrate in our afternoon class on Wednesday. And Michael, you know, you're more than one call as well to join it. I'll have a Zoom number with it as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.